Yeah, yeah. I see this newspaper heading title, "Young Position for Vice President." Okay, since the days of the reunification, or the days of the plebiscite, the days of the referendums, the Aijo government was bound to to annul the position of vice president, okay, and put the so-called prime minister. Okay, why? Because the post of the vice president is paramount, very powerful than prime minister. Because any president that become president has to put the vice president that he knows can assume power immediately in case of any unforeseen circumstance. But what did Aijo do then? He annulled his position. Okay, because we had the position of the vice president under Foncha. Okay, Foncha had two positions: the vice president of the republic, of both republics, and the prime minister of Southern Cameroon. But what Aijo did was that he annulled this position. Okay, and what happened? That was the start of the gradual that is dissemination of the Southern Cameroon institution and Southern Cameroon, uh, uh, anything Southern Cameroon, and that's why even the constitution that was you know, put in state in 1972, that they said that constitution, even the constitution that they said should not be touched, but I just touched it in 1972 by changing the name, changing the flag, changing everything that binded the two countries together as a federal states of two equal status. That was where you have this Scapo, the NCNC, all these guys started coming up to, the name Ambazonia was given in 1984. Yes, so this is not a new name that some people say, oh, Ambazonia, where did Ambazonia come from? It was just a change of name, just like Ghana changed their name from Gold Coast to Ghana. Many countries changed their names. Senegambia, all these countries that had names that were given back in the colonial days had to change their names. So it's not something that is new that a country can change their name and put the name that can identify them, okay? Because Southern Cameroon is the only country, one of those countries that had more than five different names change, okay? Back in the time of the British, or British Southern Cameroon. Oh, then they changed, oh, mandated territory. United Nations mandated territory under the League of Nations. Come on. Later, they named Southern Cameroon. But Ambazonia was a name that was given by the activists. Okay, for Gojin Dinka gave that name because he knew that that name was an identical name. Okay, and definitely the Ambazonian different activists started using the name, and the name become a commonplace. Okay, so it wasn't, but the fight for the reinstation, okay, and they put in place of the Southern Cameroon institution wasn't something that began in 2016. So most of our people still think about 2016. Okay, this was a long fight. Okay, back in the days when they realized that our institutions were all changed to the French Constitution, our you know infrastructures were being dilapidated. That's why, but whatever we brought in this union, we have lost everything. Okay, because what we have now is not what we're supposed to have. Okay, our infrastructures are no more there. Okay, and I don't understand the elites who are in the parliament, elites who are chiefs, elites who are senators, elites who are men of God. Do not ask these questions. Okay, Where are what we brought in? This the PWGs, the all our Medinos, the marketing board, all this international airport that was in Tico, the Bali airport. Where are all these infrastructures? You keep giving somebody CPGM support, CPGM this, but you don't ask that. But when will those guys that went for the Grand National Dialogue, what did they get from that? People don't ask questions. They just allow them to be used, and those abandoned Sonara, then they go and start building a new oil refinery in Kribi. The same thing abandon the Limbe deep seaport, go and start building a, a funny seaport in Kribi. Then you guys don't ask questions. They abandoned many projects that have been abandoned. And you guys don't even ask that, hey, but why did they abandon this project? Can they start this project? Or can they do this? But you guys feel very comfortable with your positions. And now, when elections start, you guys will come back, start asking for vote. And when the people say we don't want elections because election don't help us, let's go into the nitty gritties of this problem, the root causes of this problem. You guys don't want to push the government. You see what the United Nations are saying, the other governments are saying. So you wonder me why other countries, other government, other organizations are coming in to say, hey, let's fix this thing. Okay? People don't know, no. Let peace reign, peace. You put peace the whole place. But at the end of the day, you are not solving the problem. You're not talking about the refugees in Nigeria, Amazonian refugees in Nigeria. You are not talking about Amazonian prisoners of war in prison now, as we speak. You are not talking about the internally displaced. You are not talking of victims. What justice can we get from the victims of this crisis? You're not talking about that. When you talk about peace, these are things that have to go on the negotiation table. You cannot just come and shout your name, peace, then you are not going to the root causes of the problem. How do you want to solve the problem? How do you want to end the crisis without solving the problem? Is it by keeping these militaries that are committing atrocities in all the villages, the towns? You go, you see militaries, they are harassing the civilians there. They are extortion of money, bribe, corruption. You see rape cases and all these things are going on by the Cameroon military who are occupying our land. But these allies see nothing good or nothing bad in that. They say, okay, let's go for election. Election has not solved the problem and cannot solve the problem because the problem is ongoing. And if you guys cannot sit and advise the government of Cameroon what to do, you guys only want to go for election after election. We know Pobia has already won the election. Why do you want to go for election again? These are things that we have to talk about. But without which, whatever happens, there is a problem. Okay? But what I'm saying is that the position of the vice president will not still solve the problem. But what will happen is that negotiation should go into the root cause of the problem. Okay? The Southern Cameroon has a long-standing problem from independence. And whatever the government of Cameroon is doing without solving the problem, they are only making the problem worse. Because for the past 9 years, we have seen this same up and down, trying to dodge the real cause of the problem. It has not helped. It has only aggravated the problem. And that's why many international community have called for genuine dialogue, genuine negotiation process with a mediator so that they can go into the root causes of the problem. Okay, that is why what can solve the problem between the people of Southern Cameroon, Amazonia, and the government of Cameroon. If not, all this election, all these nomination, appointments, all these things will not help in any way. It will only keep aggravating the problem, prolonging the problem, and even getting the problem worse than it started in 2016. That is a word to a wise to be enough for the government of Cameroon. Thank you.